If you're a fan of Bridgerton, then you know it's not just about the steamy romance and drama. There are a ton of super cool details in this series that you might have missed. So let's dive into some of them right now. Starting off with the reason why there are so many bees on the show. Okay, so you might have noticed something buzzing around the ton all the time. Yep, we're talking about those pesky bees. They're definitely making an appearance in the show, and it's not just for decoration. So, what's the deal with these bees? Well, they're actually hinting at something dark from the Bridgerton family's past. Remember how Sir Edmund Bridgerton had always been missing in the series? Well, we eventually found out that he died from a bee sting. This little detail comes straight from Julia Quinn's second novel, The Viscount Who Loved Me. And as if that's not enough, Edmund's death left his son Anthony Bridgerton with a case of apophobia.
People can really see themselves in that genre. And then, then you meet the cast, and we met the family.
A fear of bees. Yikes! It's amazing how something as small as a bee can have such a big impact on the Bridgerton family. Now, this next one's a little subtler, but it might blow your mind. The color palette of their Bridgerton home signifies a lot. The Bridgertons live in a fancy house that's all about the blues and whites to match their outfits, and symbolize their refined and old money lifestyle. As the production designer Will Hughes Jones puts it, there's a synergy between the sets and the costumes. So how did they make it happen? Well, the costume designers made a lookbook before Hughes Jones even came on board. And while they were scouting locations, they brought color swatches and fabrics along with them. According to costume designer Ellen Mirojnick, the Bridgertons are like royalty. They follow the rules, they're super polished, and they have a pristine feel. So it's no surprise that Hughes Jones went with a subtle and classical palette when designing their home. The main color in their pad? Wedgwood blue.
To the basic foundation of the 1813 silhouette.
According to Hughes Jones, described the Bridgerton house as being like a piece of Wedgwood ceramic. In case you're curious, Wedgwood was all the rage among the noble class after Queen Charlotte ordered a tea set in 1765. On the other hand, the Featherington household is decorated with loud colors, signifying their nouveau rich status. Unlike the Bridgertons, the Featheringtons are pretty new to the upper class, and their color scheme displays just that. And so while the Featheringtons may be new money, they're trying to make a splash and show off. Their place is all about over-the-top glam and trying to keep up with the Bridgertons. Also, the Featheringtons' bright citrus palette is a nod to their status as social climbers. They want to be seen and heard, and their bold colors reflect that. And what about the interiors? Hughes Jones shared that they went for a mix of Thomas Hope's sleek black and gold with some bold citrus accents. To put it short, it's like they're trying to scream, "Look at me," with their decor. And so while the Bridgertons may have the refinement and sophistication, the Featheringtons are all about making a statement.
But I think because it's coming from a good place.
Just like the bright pops of citrus in their home, they're not afraid to stand out. Moving on, you might be wondering why the songs in the background of Bridgerton sound so familiar. Well, it's because they're covers of modern pop hits. Bridgerton is not your average Regency-era show. While it keeps with tradition by featuring elegant orchestral music in the background, it's got a modern twist. The music you hear throughout the series is not just any classical music. It's actually covers of popular pop hits from the last couple of decades. Talk about taking the Regency era to the next level.
There, and he was like, I just want to have this one there. And so this became the main title, Bridgerton.
The orchestral arrangements of strings and harps blend in seamlessly with the rest of the show's elements. And when you find out that the music you're listening to is actually a cover of a hit song from today, it's like a little surprise that makes the show even more special. So far, we've been treated to orchestral covers of songs like How Deep Is Your Love by Calvin Harris and Disciple, Thank You Next by Ariana Grande, Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, Wildest Dreams by Taylor Swift. It's like the perfect blend of old-timey and new school vibes, just like the series itself.
And obviously in a time of COVID as well, that sort of edged the balance more towards work.
You've done a handbook.
Now, have you ever wondered why Lady Whistledown sounds so familiar? It's because Julie Andrews is the narrator. That's right, the one and only Julie Andrews. Yes, the legendary star of The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins recorded all of her lines as the mysterious gossip writer from the comfort of her own New York studio. It was all thanks to technology, as she was able to connect with the Bridgerton team over Zoom. Chris Van Dusen, the showrunner of the series, spilled the beans to Star Lifestyle in an interview. He said that when they sent Andrews the scripts, she loved them so much that she agreed to take on the role without even leaving her home. So there you have it. The magic of Bridgerton has the voice of a living legend. Who would have thought? Now, we all know that Bridgerton is really good at foreshadowing, and one of my favorite ones is in Season 2. When Portia compared herself to Catherine the Great, it hinted her coup against Jack.
Well, yeah, I mean, love never plays by the rules, and we're beginning with a very sort of barren landscape.
When Portia advises her daughter to stop wasting her time writing letters to her crush Colin Bridgerton, she said the following words: "Colin Bridgerton is no more your friend than I am Catherine the Great." Ironically, Portia's storyline with Jack Featherington ends up being a lot like that between the Russian Empress and her husband Peter III. And just like how Catherine the Great staged a coup to overthrow Peter's hold on Russia, Portia hatches a plan on the show to get rid of Jack for good and reclaim power over her household.
Has a son, the estate shall pass to them, for he has excellent penmanship, you see.
Moving on, that's not the only part of Season 2 that had more meaning than you might have originally thought. For example, Eloise and Benedict's conversation on the swings is a continuation of their touching Season 1 moment. The finale of Bridgerton brings us back to the iconic swings, where Benedict and Eloise have a heart-to-heart about life. They both feel like misfits in their own world, and with Benedict's shattered confidence after discovering that his admission to the Royal Academy was brought by Anthony, and Eloise's feelings of imposter syndrome at the fancy high society balls. It's a moment that echoes back to their first chat on the swings in episode 2 of Season 1. Back then, Benedict expressed his dream to become an artist but feared failure, when Eloise wished for the same freedom to pursue her passions, but felt limited as a woman in Regency England. Sibling bond and mutual understanding at its finest. Finally, let's talk about Lady Julia and Miss Quinn. Back in the beginning of Season 2, Anthony's on the hunt for the perfect bride, and in his quest, he's made a list of potential candidates. And as it turns out, the talented novelist Julia Quinn got a shout-out in that list. Yes, you heard that right. Anthony had both Lady Julia and Miss Quinn written down, with Lady Julia being labeled as a romantic and Miss Quinn as an exceptional writer. But alas, just like all the other lovely ladies, Lady Julia and Miss Quinn got the axe from the demanding Viscount. And that's it for all the fascinating details you might have missed in Bridgerton. Make sure to keep an eye out for them when you watch Season 3. Or on your next rewatch. We won't judge. See you in the next one.